So we return at daybreak. On the next, well, no, we already did daybreak. You guys woke up while you were breaking down your tents and loading it up. That's when you saw
That's when I found
the
it.
note.
That's when you found that. Your approach will pick up as you have been gathering your items for the day.
Oh, and we also went to the blacksmith.
Yeah, he didn't mention Nils at all.
It's because he's not the main
that was the
cast.
other thing. Johan was accepted as a assistant to Helmut.
He done got a demotion.
Yeah.
No, he was a lector. He retained his title, but now he is within the Crusade. Nils, on the other hand,
Got fired.
Let go is the
Das
phrase that they
Boot.
prefer.
there was no place for Nils within the Crusade at that spot. So, their gracious, charitable hearts of the Road Wardens.
Why'd you use plural?
All of us.
Took
He
in
started it.
Nils, and
He started it.
Carmen declared him. Carmen went and declared him a squire of the Hunters of Sigmar. Hasn't been properly inducted, but she went and got provisions and equipment for him so that he could be of use in his squirely duties.
Indoctrinate him.
We were also told that we needed to meet up with Krieger before everything moved on. So we have only a little bit of time,
For your
I
duty.
think.
You
Yeah.
have a few. We'll say you have a half an hour before you're due to meet up.
We're
Okay.
supposed to meet him, and yet we have been presented with the possibility that he might be one of the people sabotaging everything.
I mean, that makes sense then. If anything, it makes
Move
it
the microphone
easier.
a little bit more towards them, so that when you talk in that direction, there you go. That's
Yeah.
better.
I mean, it works out.
I was
If
also
anything,
trying not to let it bump.
yeah. We're
If anything, hover it over the table a little bit in that direction.
If we need
Oh,
to
can't go any
investigate this
further. Leave it
person,
there.
it's great that we're seeing them anyway. Although we just need to fit in between now and then, trying to figure out something about the vessels.
Well, he did ask for progress, so we have to say something, and we
Yes.
obviously cannot show him this note.
No. I think that information needs to be nurtured first.
You weren't sent to Krieger to inform on the chaos stuff.
We know that, yeah.
Okay.
So we need to at least possibly maybe see what wagon's carrying supplies, see if we can personally inspect what they're using to transport it around, maybe. And as we go, I'm sure, I don't want to say chaos, but trouble seems to find us no matter where we go. And in this case, we need it, so.
You know, trouble always seems to find us, and yet when we want to find it...
Alright, so, I mean, we'll keep this note under consideration without a doubt, but we have the perfect opportunity to meet this person that we now have concerns about without having to orchestrate a meeting. So that's great. We just need to watch him carefully, and it may be at night, because the note mentioned specifically that he's been going out under the cover of darkness.
Right. It's Granny all over again.
It's not, I hope it's not that, because in which case this man's completely innocent.
That's a gray area. Do you remember the wolves?
The wolves, they were not her doing. They came after that woman because of her power. They were attracted, like
They were
moths.
attracted to be there because of her.
That's not her fault.
She didn't know what she was doing, and they came along
Seems
sniffing
like
There's
the
a very
chaos.
hard line between summoning and being possibly a victim too. Butting heads on shit that we didn't even stream about.
No.
Asterisk. Editor's note. See.
In in brackets.
See Chaos Unending, episode 0.
Yeah.
Issues.
The
Here's
Untold
issue 0.
Tale.
Just flipping through the playlist like
We're gonna have to make a highlight of that time we like gave the synopsis of it on one of the episodes. I forget which one, but that would be good for people.
So get back into character here.
So we want to see if we could find the wagon with provisions, perhaps? Seems like a...
Yeah.
Unless anyone has other ideas on where to start.
Oh, that sounds like a good place to start, but don't drink any.
Oh, God, no. We should not drink or even have the water of this place near our mouths for any other particular reason. Stick to wine, stick to, you know, your own provisions if you have anything
Make
left.
perception tests.
7.
16.
18.
You're noticing it's getting to be about that time. The 16 and the 18. What was it that...
7!
7, okay. So the humans notice, the sun's getting to that point in the sky where you should probably be meeting up with Krieger, and you see the rest of the wagons and other... and the carts are starting to being loaded. You can find yourself kind of standing out in the open as people are rushing past you.
Where's everyone going?
We're packing up and leaving soon.
Well, it's just about time for us to go and see Krieger, so I suppose we might as well go.
Fine by me. On our way back, we'll have to look for that other wagon.
Well, we didn't have much time.
So we go and...
Heading to find Krieger, it's not hard to find. You can see it. Well, first you hear him, a booming voice, rising above the din of the camp, and that's when you see him. He looks very official in his captain's attire. The thing that makes him stand out all that much extra is the plumage on his large slouch cap. It's one of those big round hats that kind of sits to one side. A large pair of golden feathers flying out the side.
I kind of look between him and Krieger to compare their plumage.
Oh, nowhere near.
I don't suffer from hat envy.
He's wearing his armor and his full regalia. You can see his arm, his sleeve of purple with the golden symbol on the shoulder, showing off his allegiance to Carl as he barks orders at a regiment. Wait, no, not a regiment. A unit of... he had halberdiers, that's right.
Oh, I remember them.
Eisenbach had the spearmen and the knights. 30 well-drilled halberdiers that look pristine in their imperial colors. The one thing that does stand out is that they all have the sleeves of Carl of the Crusade. Squad is like 5 dudes. This would be a unit. So he stands before them barking his orders. You can see he's not the youngest man, but he's also not completely venerable. Thick, dirty blonde sideburns that loop up and over into a magnificent mustache, but with a clean chin. He cuts an impressive profile as he deals with his subordinates. Just as you're within maybe 20-30 paces, he lets out a bark of "Hut!" all of the halberdiers snap into position. They turn on their heels and start marching in formation at the head of what is slowly becoming a procession. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess we go up to him, don't we?
Well, who wants to? I think it certainly might go over better if it was you to speak. I think your station affords you a certain...
I still don't know what to tell him.
We're reporting as instructed.
Yeah, no, we're being told where we're going to patrol and guard by Krieger.
Oh, yes.
You're thinking Helmet is who we need to, like, out of character, we needed to speak to Helmet to give him information of what we found during our searching around, but we were told to speak to Krieger to find out where we were going to be placed.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, back. Ha.
I'll walk up to him.
As he sees you approaching, he turns and gives the sign of the hammer across his chest.
Do the same.
And gives you the imperial salute of Sigmar. As you stand in front of it, he waits for you as a drill instructor would wait for soldiers to arrive. One hand behind his back, left hand holding his polearm, the butt of it shoved directly into the arch of his boot, with it out on kind of a 30-degree angle, chin held high, a man of respect.
I was about to say respect.
Make a perception tests.
All of us?
All of you.
Okay.
16 again.
22.
19.
You all notice, though, he seems weary. His eyes belie a tiredness that the rest of his body refuses to let be shown.
Maybe he was out late.
The muscle memory of persistent, trained, regular drilling obviously has not left his bones to the point where even fatigue could let it be shown.
No chill.
I understand.
How do you approach him?
Same. Just stand before him. Like, we're reporting for duty, sir.
Do you leave Nils to his own devices?
He's
been
with
you.
us.
Yeah, no, he's
with
been
us.
with you, but do you leave him to his own devices? Do you, like, snap him into a position?
He seems to, like, know what... I mean, at least from the ceremony.
There's a difference between religious ceremony and military ceremony.
Okay, I'll put him... I'm gonna put his, you know... Best, you know, make...
I'm a small boy!
I need to show it at someone.
I wish I was aware of this.
I don't
Well, you
know.
said you handed him your shield
Yes.
and your axe before.
I'm gonna make sure, though, that he's standing up straight, that his feet are together, you know, like, that attention.
So, you notice that he really kind of looks lost, and he's just kind of behind everybody. So,
Put him,
you grab him,
mold
put him next to you,
into- yeah.
kind of like put him into his position, make sure
Yeah.
he's holding his shield and sword
Yes.
correct.
Linear is happy to sulk backwards behind them, just like...
His bastard sword slung across his back, holding your shield for you. He doesn't have to hold the axe because it's on your hip.
Yeah.
He wouldn't presume.
But as soon as you put him into the right position, he sticks to it rigidly.
I'll give him a little reassuring pat on the shoulder before I speak to Krieger.
What about Lanira and Brand? Oh no. We'll do Lanira first then, because I see wiliness.
twinkle of-
I see the twinkle of wiliness in his eyes.
No, 'cause
Go ahead, Lanira's.
Well, no, as I said before, as Carmen's kind of like snapping Nils into shape, she's happy to see that she's pulling the kid forward because it gave her the opportunity to kind of slink backward and out of the line of the conversation. Like, because seeing her kind of in the back and forth of talking to a soldier, she's kind of more like...
You're also in an open field, so sliding behind everybody.
Not standing directly behind her, but assuming that there is some, like, slight V formation in their casual, like, talking. Just
Okay.
suddenly trying to insinuate you were talking to this person. Please don't speak to me.
I can't train all of them.
What is Hildebrand's posture and approach?
I'll go up and I'll be more behind her in this case. I'll stand perfectly still. I will behave. I will behave myself.
I'm glad.
Shocked and relieved. Oh, really, Annie?
Oh, the cat has awoken. She has said words. Sorry. Stream cat number 2.
2. Sorry, cats. Cats happen.
Cats
Yes,
happen.
we had the shout, the feline shout. Everyone make charisma. We'll say this is a charisma. I would put protocol as it, but you guys don't. It's not a
Protocol.
skill.
No, it is. This isn't like BDSM D&D, okay? Protocol is
Persuasion?
not.
No, as a skill, it's social protocol is a skill in some games.
Okay.
Knowing what to do. I'll let you know what it is once I look at the character sheet quickly.
Well, my.
Performance?
No, it's not persuasion. Nice try.
Performance?
I
have a +9 with persuasion. That's
I
why I
am
was
up-
asking.
I'll
up a river without Jekyll right now.
I'll accept performance or history.
I have a +9 with performance too.
History.
Yeah, it would be an etiquette check in other systems.
I don't
There is no
have-
etiquette in this game either.
That would be a 26.
Okay.
Oh,
6.
12. I don't have,
I have
any
absolutely
bonuses.
perfect formation.
Apparently, I
For
don't.
some reason, the bard knows how to fall into formation. Well,
I was so busy
hold
with
on,
Nils.
Let me finish. Because Carmen was so focused on making sure Nils was in the proper place and location, she ended up looking a little bit out of sorts herself, but not disrespectfully so. Lynira stands a little bit too far back than she realizes, though, and you see a little bit of a squint from the Imperial captain
Giving you the side eye.
before he returns to address the whole of you. Kind of impressed by Hildebrand. Well, he went to a very good school. Fucking boarding school douche. Anyway, from his place of attention. So, I have heard that you have joined us. Very good. I assume that you have been briefed on our protocols for procession.
Have we?
I don't believe so.
I'll have to find whose job that was and whip it into them. You will be on patrol today with the line. These are the ones who protect Carl's wagon directly. This is not an honor for you today. This is a precaution. Helmut, as well as myself, and Herr Eisenbach will be nearby. We'll be able to keep an eye on you. Make sure you don't fall into any funny business. Looking directly at Lynira, standing sorely out of formation.
Behind my back while my hands are at my side, I'm gonna like give her like come here, you know?
But this sort of thing has happened before, so don't take advantage of Carl's mercy. But you will be required to be with the line For most of the day's travel, you will be allowed to fall back with the rest of the crusade when you are off duty while we travel, and you will be given rest time while we set up camp for the night. If you are to be put on night duty, someone will be assigned to erect your tent for you, and you should find it in a similar location. We try to keep things organized here. Central camp is always erected the same way every time. I make sure of it. So, I hope you have all of your things, all of your belongings tidied up, and with the rest of the crusade, as we move out, I will see you on the line.
Yes, sir. We will do our best.
Snaps his hand over his chest in salute, and marches in the direction of his unit, leaving you, Nils, and the rest of the empty camp as it finishes up its collapse around you.
Well, that went well.
Well, we have to get our horses still. But Altdorf isn't that far.
Which means it also doesn't give us necessarily
Make
a lot of
a
time.
survival check.
Another. I keep rolling 15s. I don't know.
We could sugar bath and test it.
It's actually a 19. It's a 19.
That's a damn fine roll.
Yes. Tabletop loot dice.
Yeah, that gilded turquoise. Listen, I baptized it in glitter.
This is a paladin's die, if there ever was one.
It actually matches the paladin spell.
It
It
does.
matches
Yes.
the paladin spell cards.
Blue and gold.
She got a 19.
Yes.
It's been that kind of day. I need to refill. Kilt knew what was going on. You know you are not exactly as well as a crusade can travel. You guess if it was just the three of you, it would probably take 2 days, maybe a day and a half. With this many people stopping to make camp, the number of hours you're only going to be able to travel, you estimate probably 3 days travel to Altdorf from where you are, knowing the woods as you do.
Well, normally, if we were just traveling ourselves, it would be only a few days, but it'll probably be a little longer. The only way I can think of... Were you, like, raising your hand to say something?
I was talking
okay.
to chat. I was showing off the beard.
Oh, I was like, are you stopping
Yeah,
me?
are we signaling? Is there a signal?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but it should be a little longer than that. The only time we're really gonna get to investigate is when we're off duty.
So then it's good that the day takes longer as a group then. In this instance?
Yes.
I mean, the fact that the camp will be set up the same way, like, that man's adherence to structure is at least helpful too.
I appreciate it.
It seems like it takes an enormous amount of energy to keep that up.
It doesn't seem... It's good in some ways, but not in others. If there's another attack, they'll know where everything is.
Yeah, that doesn't seem the safest. I can appreciate the structure in the sense that, yes, you have order, you know where to patrol people, but if you were trying to... It seems terrifically egotistical to think that
Yes.
they'll protect the chaps.
Now,
They're not afraid.
Yeah.
now I know that I am nowhere near as knowledgeable in the ways of chaos as you two might be. But, would somebody who worships a chaotic one be so well ordered and structured?
It comes in all forms. I mean, honestly, just because somebody has some OCD with how they organize their desk, that doesn't mean they can't slaughter a chicken on their off time.
Right
Sorry.
on.
I'm sorry.
Was that
was
necessary?
that was a regrettable choice of words.
Was that necessary? But
I don't think that would
your
absolve
analogy
him.
is correct.
Yes, I misspeak with that. I just don't think it's enough to absolve this man of any implications that may be on him from that note.
Just a thought.
Yeah, I think hopefully we won't be on night duty, so then we'll be able to a little easier sort of kind of keep track of him and see what he's doing on his walks. But
I have a feeling we're not going to get much sleep in the next few days. But we do have two very important things to do. We need to investigate the water, and we need to investigate him. It'd be best to investigate the water during the day when it's being distributed, but if we need to follow him, that's going to happen at night.
time-wise, is it sundown-ish?
Oh, no. It's
middle
your
of the day.
It's early in the morning.
early in the morning.
God. Okay.
You were roused and
Thanks.
set out.
Remember,
on
you
the
fell
day.
out of your cocoon.
No. I was busy. I was doing things.
You also attached your sleeves, I'm assuming, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Linear's kind of hangs from the belt. I feel judgment in your face whenever you look at me. You are not fighting that statement very hard, ma'am.
Likewise.
Alright, so
Well, some things seem normal at least.
We're just an audible mess tonight.
sorry guys, it's a weird day. We have them now and again.
It's been a weird and terrible week.
Yeah. The cars were bolted. Okay.
They stink on ice.
All of them did.
Okay.
All of that.
Back to game.
Yeah. Alright, so we have the entire day ahead of us. We might as well try and see while they're passing out water, or if they're packing it up, as it were.
Okay. Let's go check on that. And we do need to get our horses, but we should not be late. As soon as we see people starting to line up, we need to go there. Are there people starting to line up?
You're starting to kind of see it, but you think you've got, from your knowledge of military operations in the past, you know that you maybe got like 15-20 minutes to go grab your horses before the procession looks like it will be formed and ready to head out. You can already see them starting to set up the palanquin-like throne as an actual palanquin to be carried.
A little jealous.
You'll get there.
So,
She wants one for you.
what would you like to do with your time?
Let's go get our horses. You want to check?
We're basically going to have just enough time to get our horses before they head out.
Maybe if we pass by?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because we actually never went back and got the horses.
If you want, some of us can retrieve the horses. I'm sure me and Nils can handle it. And if you guys want to check out the water,
I don't necessarily feel comforted with us splitting up in this mess, but I'll defer to you in this particular situation.
well, we don't have enough time to do everything together. Just, check out the situation, see how it's being distributed, and how it's being carried. That's all you can do right now. Don't drink any of it.
I actually have to pee, so do you guys want to go and check the water? I'll get the horses.
You're gonna go with Nils to get the horses?
Yeah,
He'll
that's
be
what we'll do.
fine.
Okay.
I'm not gonna eat the child.
Okay.
He might trip a few times watching your legs.
He has more important things to do now.
He had important things
Swear.
to do then,
If
too.
that child loses his focus because of her legs,
Damn elf
So-
witches.
we're gonna walk around, see if we can see carts with water, jugs.
Make 2 perception tests.
say 2?
2.
2.
2 of them.
Oh, that one was shit. Okay, that was a 4. And a 17.
9 and a 14.
Okay. You don't see them at first. Oops. You don't see them at first, but after about 10 minutes of searching, you spot what could best be described as a water carriage. You see 2 large vertical tubs of water. Like, you could call these small swimming pools if you were to actually
And they're
jump into
filled.
them. From what you can see, there is some wetness around the rims. They're not covered, it doesn't look like.
That itself might be a problem that they're not covered.
Open standing water? No, it's not good.
Well, who got the 17, by the way?
was me.
Was you? You do see that nearby there are the 2 lids are currently off, and running up with a yoke is a page of some sort with 2 big buckets of water on either end, running over to it. That's when you see a man who was standing nearby. You didn't really see him on the opposite side of the cart. Steps up onto one of the wheels. You see his head pop up over, and you see the kid pass up the buckets, dumps one bucket in, dumps the other bucket in, and then waves for the other people to start lifting the lids. You notice the lids as soon as they start actually putting them up there.
Okay, so once it looks like the kid did what he was going to do, I'm gonna walk over and be like, oh, so I've been wondering, where do you get all this water around here?
The whatever fresh water the Striders find. Right today we were grabbing from a river just down the ways. Priests bless each bucket as I pull it out.
Oh, that's good.
Doing our best.
Yeah.
You heard about the
Yeah, I'm a
sickness.
little concerned.
It's a problem. We're doing our best. It's giving us a
I
bad
only
name.
recently joined. How long has it been going on?
Oh, maybe first day after we set out, people started getting sick. We just assumed it was travel.
Wow, but you keep collecting water from each new area. That would be strange.
Yeah, we've also scrubbed and done our best to sanitize the inside, clean it out, wire brushes, best we can. Doesn't seem to help these days.
Yeah, unfortunately, I speak from personal experience. Even blessings can miss a few things.
Oh, we should probably tell the priests about that.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do would be to boil the water, but I know in this quantity that's just not realistic.
But well, you know mostly about these kinds of things. You
Enough to survive in the wild. I've never gotten the...
you look like a nightly woodsy type.
Yeah.
How would you do it?
Well, I've only ever had to worry about myself and my few companions. I've never had to, carry and secure it in such large quantities like this. I wish I had better advice.
Well, if you get any ideas, pass it around to me, Foreman.
Yeah.
He's the big guy
course.
up there.
Perhaps you might want to also look into making sure that any vessels you use in distributing the water.
Oh, we don't have the vessels. Those are all vessels. He points at the 2.
But who distributes the water then?
Oh, they're on spigots. Somebody comes up, they can get a portion. A ration. We try to keep track of who does.
So you don't have someone going out and ladling.
No. They're converted. Reaper's Bounty gave them to us, actually. Before that, we were just bringing buckets up from the river, and people were in charge of it. But then we decided we were going to go ahead and get everybody together and make sure we had the water contained and try and fix this problem, because we thought it was the water. I don't think it is the water, though.
Do you have people watching the water at night?
Well, yeah. We have our tent sit right next to it, and we get a guard on it.
Okay.
Usually it's either one of Lord Eisenbach's men, and sometimes it's some of Krieger's men. They watch the water overnight. Slowly becoming a New Zealander.
And I have a suggestion, if I may. Perhaps when someone approaches, you with their vessel to fill up with the spigot, perhaps you might want to have the priests give an extra blessing to those vessels, just to make sure that their vessels might not be contaminated.
It's a lot. I'll see if I can get one of them. Maybe it would.
It's just a suggestion.
We're just the water bearers. We try our best.
I know.
No, yeah, I understand that.
But
You have to look at things from many different angles.
I don't know if there's going to be a priest that wants to do that.
If they only got the vessels at the Reaper's Bounty, and they said it was happening before that, then I don't think.
No, I mean the vessels that the people bring to fill up. They got you got the spigots from the spigots and the
tubs
and the tubs,
yes.
not the people's vessels that they bring up to get filled in.
But everyone getting sick? And sometimes it's only one person in a family.
Yeah.
I have no idea where my accent is going right now.
There's gotta be some connection.
Oh no. Well, if you figure something out, let us know.
All right. Thanks for taking the time. We should get going.
And my boss is giving me the stink eye, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He goes and runs over and hops onto the cart. And starts whipping the
Alright.
horses to get them around.
We weren't told by Helmut that we're not allowed to let people know that we're looking into the water.
No.
So we can tell people, oh, we're on Helmut's orders.
I wouldn't tell them we're on his orders, because if someone is responsible for this, we don't want them knowing that he's behind that.
Listen, random NPC is going to have floating accents, okay? Just deal with it. Mungo teasing.
While I was getting the
Horses?
Yes.
With Nils.
Yes, with Nils, that's fine. Don't get lost in the crowd, kid.
So after you check the water, you make your way back to the line?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anywhere else you wanted to go in that time? You got maybe 5 minutes before you can see them starting to really form up now.
Yeah.
You know you got a little bit of time if you needed to stop off somewhere, but you think you'd be late if you didn't.
Well, we don't have time.
I don't think
for
there's
that.
anything else that we can look into right now.
I did want to get the engraving for Nils, but that can't happen in 5 minutes.
Well, he's also packed up his entire tent.
Yes. No,
We said when
we get there, yeah. We stopped at a weird point.
we did.
Yeah.
As she was walking to go get the horses, she was casting detect magic and just looking around at everything, because she's feeling really out of her element, and it's kind of just a little.
Detect magic. Aside from the winds being rather calm for this time of year, you really don't see anything that shines like a magic item. Occasionally you see a priest walking with something, and maybe a relic they have on their hip might actually have some kind of power as compared to the other ones that are just people with faith. Sometimes you see a soldier with like a scroll on their hip, or maybe one of the musicians in a regiment. Maybe their actual instrument seems to have a little bit of the je ne sais quoi about it.
Oh?
You don't know this.
I know.
But other than that, nothing that you see out of the ordinary at the moment.
Okay.
Make a perception test as well along with that, because that just lets you see the magic.
Yeah.
Let's see if your perception picks up anything like being able to see it.
$13.
Yeah, nothing you can really catch.
Okay.
Aside from those few knickknacks and bric-a-brac attached to people's hips and hands and in a backpack maybe here or there, but nothing that seems malicious. Maybe a few enchantments, maybe a few simple transmutation magics. So metal and so the Wind of Common, Gold Wind of Common, and the no, it's both. It's both enchantment, item enchantment, and transmutation are
It's like
both within the realm of
tinkering
metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to keep an eye on.
Oh,
his
and the
surroundings.
occasional something radiant
Okay.
on the priests. So it's then that you're able to collect the horses, bring them back, and it's at that time that you see Carmen and Hildebrand making their way back from their little snoop.
So how did that go? As you see, I was successful. Look, I have horses.
So proud of you.
You fared better than we did, I fear.
Really?
We didn't find out too much, but there's many, many angles. They have all the water in these huge tubs, and people come to the cart to collect themselves with their own vessels.
Did you investigate the tubs?
We weren't able to, but they said that
They're packing up.
they also said that they have the priests bless the tubs.
They bless the water when they bring it back. They get the water from some natural source. The priests bless the water, and then they put it in the tubs. But they've said this has been going on since the Crusade started. So the water itself, it would be very unlikely that it would be contaminated unless the kid's lying. But what I do find suspect and an opening for tampering would be at nightfall. They have people guarding
A guard.
but who the guard is, what faction they are, it changes. One of the factions is Krieger.
So we have much to do at night.
Also,
It's possible.
They said that sometimes it's just one member of a family that gets sick.
Well, I should put this. Some
it's
people
not
could
like-
be more susceptible to an enchantment, a curse, a hex than others. So there are a lot of variables, not just limited to the water itself. You could have someone sleeping on cursed ground and have one person take to it much more than others. Just people are very different, so I wouldn't completely knock that out. I don't know. I would need way more information to make a judgment on that. I'm afraid that just opened up more possibilities.
Yeah, well, at least we have done a little bit of investigation. So if we are questioned on this, we have something to say. But I do believe we should keep an eye on it when it's most vulnerable at night. Another thing I considered was anyone coming up to collect water, if they're not watched closely, they could be putting something in
Not of the
daylight.
None of the thing is they have attendants there, and they said they just take it from the spigot out of the side of the cart, right?
That was what he said, yeah.
Are they not permitted to touch it? They simply not just...
Somebody comes up and they fill it from the spigot. The spigots are from those large wine casks that we found at the
They took that from the Reaper's
Bounty. Remember, we found those large wine casks with no spigots.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So I think most likely scenario is something's happening at night. But we also haven't personally seen anyone with this
It would be
infection.
remarkably helpful to investigate the person. If
Yes.
someone's sick, that would be...
We don't know if it's an infection or some sort of curse.
Are you actually eager for someone to get sick?
No.
For the purpose, well, yes. I mean, to a certain extent, if it's happening,
This
and we
is
can
her
witness it
forte.
firsthand. Thank you.
Scientific inquiry.
Science! But I mean, I know it sounds terribly cruel. Yes, I get that.
Well,
that's
we
fine,
already
but-
know it's going to happen.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, problem solved.
Exactly.
Win-win.
But if we could see it firsthand, we could. I'm pretty sure we'll be more observant than the average medical professionals will find in this septic system.
We can see if it's just a natural infection or something more sinister. And the motivations might lead us to the guilty party. But I do think we should keep an eye out at
Yes,
night.
and I think we need to also hurry along.
Yes.
So that we do not get
All right.
the agitation of that
All
man.
right, come along.
Oh, we need another horse.
We do.
Actually, before
We
you
do.
even say that, Nils is already on his hands and knees next to your horse.
What is he doing to it?
You don't. Oh,
He expects
Oh.
you to climb up on his back,
A
using
boost
him
up.
as a
I'm
step.
so innocent.
Next to the stirrup.
Yeah.
He's on his hands and knees next to the horse.
Oh,
I'm pulling
his head
it up.
down.
I'm
He must be
pulling
ve-
him up by his collar
He
onto
must-
his feet.
he must
Like,
be very strong if he did that
onto
for
his
Johan.
feet.
He-
You're better than that.
I'm sorry. It's
No, it's okay.
it's
but you're,
just part of my duties. I saw.
Oh, you didn't do that for Johan.
Of course I did.
I think
Is your back made of iron?
Well, he said I am young and I have time in front of me to build strength.
her brain breaks a little thinking about a really
Carmen.
big.
you need to have a conversation. If he
I
is to
don't-
be your
how-
squire, you need to define what it is
I
he
know.
does for
I
you.
know.
Take responsibility.
I will never step on you. With the exception of very, very rare occurrences.
Oh, now you made it weird.
It's not weird. I
No,
just
no, I
don't.
know, I know.
I don't like making promises because what if there's a situation where I have to, but I promised that I
gotta leave.
wouldn't.
Please don't wear the spiky boots, mommy.
They're normal boots for the woods. For the woods.
You understand me?
Oh man, no, it's good today.
Sorry, I couldn't
A+.
resist. Oh, great. No, I'm speaking with the accent. Oh, great.
Is it for the spiky boots?
Ghoulie gives 15 bits to dom him, and it's spelt that way.
I don't know. No.
He looks at you very confused. But wait. Yes, sir.
All right.
And he
let's
holds
go.
his hands out next to the stirrup, cupped next.
Okay, I can accept that. See, we have.
Compromise.
Yes. Thank you.
So he
Step up.
gives you the boost up onto the horse.
That was probably easier than what he's used to.
Oh yeah, you won't. You actually feel a little bit. Oh!
Yeah, I
It's like
expected
throws you
like,
over the horse.
because you know you kind of like brace when you know.
Now you know why he was so muscular when you were outfitting him. That poor
Well,
boy had that
well, we'll call it that.
behemoth walk on his
Fortunately,
back.
that strength will do you good. Let's see how much strength.
But he actually,
14.
you
Not
notice
bad.
that he's, for all the joking aside, he is a very physically fit 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
In this world, he's all but a man grown.
What's the average life expectancy of a human in this world?
45, depending on social status.
European.
Sometimes they live to be like 60, 70. Extreme venerable age is like 60 and
Yeah,
70.
you're not walking around like a normal person. at this
No,
point, yeah.
no, you're not
I was
looking
just
at that.
curious.
Yeah, before modern medicine, that was the human.
Oh, Kilt, he's a very innocent 16. He was raised in an orphanage by nuns, and then given to a strict authoritarian
Who stepped
of
on
a
him?
priest to be his master. So
Which is why
stop going there all the time.
Which was why I was pleasantly relieved when we asked him about the bathing last week.
As Carmen gets onto her horse, doing the same
And the average age,
without
of,
the assistance of a 16-year-old boy.
like well, to answer one more question, Deep asked, what's the average age of consent in this world? And the
Never.
best way would be a woman's first moon.
That's
Would be
actually
the
accurate.
best way to describe it because of just society in general. It's a medieval society where people die, like the younger ages die at like 35, 40
You're
from
14, you're an old maid.
Yeah.
Sounds
No.
about
not
right.
married at 18. Spins to you all.
I would have been married at 14 and a half.
Oh, I would have been screwed. I would have been married at 9.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I would have been very.
So now that we have that kind of
Yeah.
information out in the open,
No.
moving right along, footloose and fancy free. I'm just gonna think about the Muppets right now. Return to a simpler time.
Well,
Here's a gift for you.
yeah.
So,
Drinks beer heavier.
appropriately situated upon your horses. I wasn't gonna say the other word because that would have just led to more problems.
So we're all set.
You're able to ride up. Nils keeps pace, and he doesn't look winded at all. Walking and trotting. When you go to a trot, he jogs. When you go to a walk, he keeps up. He's not a small child. Like, your view of him and his innocence was what gave you such a young opinion of him. But seeing him perform these physical actions on a regular basis, you're seeing that carrying that chest around with the hammer in it, helping Johann in his day-to-day life, he's actually rather... He's looks to be about like 5'11", almost 6 feet tall when he stands at a proper height. He's usually not standing at a proper height, though, because the motherfucker always had a chest on his back. Not exactly a prime example of proper posture.
Does he have like back problems from being
You do notice
stepped on?
him.
Like a little
He
bit of like
slouches.
scoliosis?
He slouches.
Yeah.
You notice him slouching. That's definitely something you do notice. He does have a bit of a slouch. But when time presents itself for him to be appropriately at attention, standing in presentation, he can pull his shoulders back, stand up appropriately. It's not impossible for him. He comes from good stock.
You would have to.
The best. Gonna train this boy. Reward him with his own horse.
So you easily
one
get
day.
back to your well, you make your way towards the procession. You can hear the chanting of the priests as they begin the prayers to move the procession forward, blessing travel, ringing sacred chimes, and gathering all of their spiritual strength to make this next leg of the crusade just as strong. Krieger waves you over, points to several places situated actually just outside the palanquin. Well within the eyesight of Krieger, Helmut, und Eisenbock.
Where's Vanderveer?
You don't see him. But there are some rather impressive carts and wagons and coaches pulled up behind these. You can see a coach pretty much for each major individual. They brought their personal coaches. Van de Peers bearing the crest of the Marienberg family. You see one that looked similar to Johann's, but a bit more impressive. And you also see one that looks... it's quaint. I would say it's quaint. It looks as though a coach that you might see on the road heading to market. Dude, what are your thoughts? You can see to your left, you can see the procession, people starting to file in, and you can see the camp as it breaks down, starts to form up into that line, waiting for Carl to make his way through the surrounding Crusaders camp, and then for the others to fall in behind. It's almost a parade route through the camp has been laid out before the child's retinue.
Spectacle is laughable. It's unnecessary.
Religion.
So just roll your eyes at religion.
I don't love organized religion.
I think that's something we can agree on then.
All right, so
personal.
we take up the position that he pointed out to us. I take it we're all together still.
Oh yes, all of you are together.
You
Being
know, you have
babysit.
to get your boy a pony.
I know. In due time.
You could just have him ride with you. You gonna make him walk the entire time?
No.
Okay, then I don't see the problem.
It's with that point you hear the crack of a whip. You hear the horses behind you start to take into motion. And at that whip crack, you see the... looks like 12 burly men pick up the 4 supports of this. You can tell it was kind of made in haste. There's elements from... it looks like it was made using elements of a church's sacristy.
Oh, like the one that we saw that was shredded apart.
Maybe not that one particularly, but this might not have been the first time they had done that. Make a religion test.
Just her, I would say. Yes.
Oh, all of you can make
All
it
of
if you
us?
want.
Oh,
It's
alright.
I actually have
test.
a -1 to religion.
What?
4.
9!
We only add anything other than religion, or do we add also intelligence?
It's religion, which gives you proficiency
Yeah.
if you have religion. If you,
If not,
and as
just
well as
add
it being
four.
an
Okay,
intelligence skill, you add your intelligence
which is
bonus.
great because I only got 5.
And what did you roll?
A 1.
You do notice the mishmash and just oddly adorned palanquin. But you do see that these elements do not come from the same location either. You do see some elements hanging from overhead, almost like a strange crusade trophy rack, as orcs might hang heads from their banners,
Nope.
and elves might hang stag's horns from theirs. Hanging amongst them, you see, occasionally a gilded hammer. You see multiple icons of the comet. Just all over this thing.
Do I?
Oh,
Yeah,
your
okay.
magic has your detect magic has dropped at this point. And that is when you begin riding. I will allow you to have conversation amongst yourself for but a few moments.
I'll pull Nils up. He can sit behind me. Oh my god,
I
you
didn't say
you
anything.
guys are the perverts.
I
It's
did not
me.
say anything. You just went into a tizzy.
No, you made a look.
That's just Lanira's face. That's
You
not fair.
made a look, and we're gonna clip it later. I'm gonna be like, here's the look. Do you see into your
We need some
future?
evidentiary
Yeah.
clipping, please.
Yes.
I think I stand by my claim that that's just the face she had.
Oh,
I can't
okay,
see what
okay.
they're doing from where I'm sitting, so that's all on you, chat
Yeah.
and Mungo. Mungo, get to clipping.
It's such a shame that we don't have better information about the water situation, but as we're traveling, this place makes such a mess on the road. I remember when we were behind it, it was disgusting. Yeah. I mean, it is possible that it is just a side effect of the regretful living choices everyone's making here.
Yes.
Well, they're also obviously not caring about where they leave their refuse.
No, and I'm sure that makes them number one in the eyes of the Wood Elves.
What did chat say?
There's a lot.
Oh, okay.
Focus on the game. That's what I'll say.
So she pulled Nils onto the back of her horse.
Yeah.
But she instructed him to do so.
Yeah.
Yes. I put down my hand and I'll like take my hand.
I do not deserve that place yet.
You're going to
will.
hold us back.
No, I won't.
You will do better on the horse.
I would accept it as a challenge to be able to walk alongside you.
Let him be ambitious. I like
That's
it.
what I want to prove that I can.
I can respect that.
Mom's sage mom nodding.
Interesting.
Mom approval.
He's like a little bitch with some things, but he's
By the way,
obstinate with others.
For chat, anybody in chat
child.
who wants to clip the channel, by all means, go ahead, make a clip. We see it, you see it. You get a little badge if you clip good spots, and a lot of people watch your clips.
I know. I'm dropping the ball. I need to start clipping.
And then I can make gifts out of it and make
Yeah.
everyone
We can also-
embarrassed.
Oh. Ghoulie, 10 bits for he is so good. If you look down, I think it's
Below this way.
that side. This side over here, if you hover over the screen, you'll see the little, it looks like a little
A gear.
snap board. No, it's not the gear.
Oh,
it's
is
the,
that what those are
Yeah.
called?
Yeah.
Snapboards?
I
Yes.
don't know off the top of my head. Right off.
Clapboards.
Clapboards. You'll see a clapboard symbol. Click on that. It'll take you. It's super easy. Just pick what it's like. It has the last, I think, like
45, 60 seconds.
it's got a good clip of time that you can adjust. Make a clip. Do it. Everybody sees it. Everybody loves it. We love it too. But that's something you can do to help us out too if you don't have bits. Make clips. They're shareable and everything. And they come up with the best randomized names.
I am getting kit love.
Yes. Sometimes appropriate.
Aw. 10 Nils appreciation bits.
Oh, good.
It's a 2-minute buffer, by the way. 2-minute previous 2-minute time buffer.
Okay.
So, the procession moves through as you hit the camp proper, with everyone's wagons piled up, everyone's things collected. Like a wave, they drop to their knees. In front of you are Eisenbach's knights, carrying their unit banner, but carrying it lower than a grand gilded banner to Carl with the symbol of the hammer and heart. One knight rides at the front carrying that. From what you can guess, it's probably 5 by 10. You could wrap yourself up in it like a blanket. Little Carl burrito.
It seems
Is this the traditional Sigmar emblem or crest, or is this something different?
Carl's? No.
Oh, this is his own.
Carl's, it's his own. It's on your shoulder too. It's a heart with the hammer with Galmaraz in the center. Nobody has taken this charge before. Good branding sees to that. So they ride before you. You on your horses with a close.
Between my legs, I got really scared.
There's Streamcat down there.
you just like went right through her legs.
Startled me because she like went straight in between my legs. Oh my god.
He's kit.
Behind them is the line, like a mounted bubble of soldiers, or a bubble of mounted soldiers would be best, you amongst them, ride in a circle around Carl. Well, not a circle, more of a rectangle, but that is your position. The speed is not anything above a walk. 12 men carry the boy. 3 on each spar of the palanquin. The curtains are open as he's waving, holding, first time you've seen, it looks like a miniature Galmaraz scepter. And, well, he's sitting upon the same throne that you saw in the ceremony. Behind him are the coaches of the individuals of note that bring coaches. Guarding those coaches, you see Krieger's men. Flanking.
And
Those
we're around
in
Carl's.
You're around Carl's. You're right up front. Krieger rides amongst you in the line. Behind them, the remainder of Krieger's men. Behind them, the spearmen of Eisenbach. And that's the main procession. There's a few supply carts making up the space behind that, but as soon as those pass, like a collapsing wave, the people line up and pull in behind. Make perception tests.
12.
9.
21.
Jump Street.
Lanira notices something strange. The place where Ayla and Eckbert's tent is empty. And much further away from the rest of the camp, you see them with their horse and cart. Almost as if they removed themselves or had been removed.
Are we starting to make
From
camp
them.
now, or
No, you're breaking down and
breaking
forming up
down.
into the crusade procession proper. And amongst all of the priests and flagellants and worshippers and pilgrims and you name a religious concept. Hold on. Streamcat situation here.
At the distance that I am, and I obviously am able to see them enough to know this, how can I see? Do they look like crestfallen? They don't look ill, right?
Well, you rolled a 21.
Yeah.
I have Streamcat. I am prepared again.
What do my elf eyes see?
You see that Eckbert looks a little sullen, and Ayla looks a little mad. Clutching the reins a little bit aggressively. And Eckbert isn't on the... Ow. Would you like to release? There you go. Okay, sorry. You're able to see that he's not on the cart itself. He's actually like kicking dirt, kicking rocks in the area around their cart, but they're definitely not with.
they're not forming up?
They're not formed up. Sorry again, Streamcat decided I'm not done with Dad yet.
We're like riding alongside each other. Yes, we're in a line in our. What's the formation of the guard?
You're at the front of the. You're in front of Krieger, kind of at the front of the line.
We're not going to be able to ride over. Send Nils.
Wow. I'm glad you know what it was I was looking at.
Here you go.
Oh, sorry.
You don't know shit.
Sorry, that was
Send
sassy.
Nils to do
No,
what?
come on. Come on with the tail.
look down the line. I know you wanted to go to the blacksmith once we
they're
landed
LW
again, but I don't know if they're coming with at all. She kind of like gestures back. She's like, look, I don't know if you're going to be able to get that work. Like,
Once you point them out, you guys are able to see them. You don't really see their attitudes, but you definitely see where they are and their separated position from the rest.
I imagine that it would draw a little bit of ire if we left formation.
Oh, we cannot.
Speak to the microphone. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It might draw a little bit ire if we were to leave the formation, but perhaps Nils can, as he is not on a horse.
As we all look down at Nils.
He's just walking next to you as proudly as he can. His face is almost covered by the shield, your shield, that he's holding up. Just his eyes are above the shield as he's carrying it nice and broadly. His identity means nothing compared to that of his knight.
I can't
Send him on his first mission.
Yep, that's pretty. Yeah, he's Kilroying behind the.
I mean, I can't. It's hard to tell, but I think they might have been asked to stay back. Like he looks quite pissed. I don't know. I mean,
Odd.
because you needed something from them, it might be worth asking. But it's not really the end of the world.
Yes. Curiosity's sake, right? And Nils.
He looks up. Yes, sir.
Do you see Ayla and Eckbert, the blacksmith we visited yesterday? You see them back there?
No, I see a horse.
Oh.
You're pointing at something behind your horse. as he's continuing.
He's like, why is my knight so stupid? Well, I know you didn't want to come on the horse, but will you for a moment just to see?
Is it an order, sir? Sorry. Sir, is that an order?
Yes. Alright.
He takes the shield and hooks it onto the hook on your saddle on the side. Trots around to the other side of your horse.
I'll put out my hand.
Well, as you pull a foot out of the saddle,
Yeah.
out of the stirrup, so that he can hook in a hand, and he actually just ignores your hand entirely, grabs the saddle, and pulls himself up.
Okay.
Really
Alright.
nice and smooth. And then he kind of turns and starts looking.
I point him out. So you're like right over there.
So, yes, I see them.
Don't you think it's odd that they're going the other way?
He looks. They don't seem to be going the other way, but they don't look like they're following just yet.
Oh. Well, should I tell him?
No, just ask why. Just have him ask.
You're
why they-
Squire. Why do you keep deferring to us?
No. I didn't want to tell him about what I had asked Ayla to do.
Oh, you don't need to tell him about your.
Well, I
You
was
needed work done.
I was looking forward
He can't
to.
hear you, you know.
I know.
Just like, okay.
I was looking forward to seeing Ayla later to procure some more equipment, and I find it odd that he's not following. Do you think you could go find out?
Yes, I will do my best.
Okay. Yeah. It's nice being on a horse, right?
Oh my god.
One day, I hope I can earn one. And he
I
hops
look
down.
forward to it.
Hops down,
Yeah.
and he starts making his way through. Make perception test quick.
I wanted it to
Everyone
be a
or-
surprise.
Okay. It could still be a surprise.
17. A nice 20. Eh.
6.
Not a hearing thing. You see, as you see Nils run off, you're able to see Krieger behind you, kind of looking squinty-eyed as the squire runs away. But he doesn't speak up. But you see his interest in your orders for your squire. And then the procession continues. It's a good 10 minutes of walking through the crusade before you're actually out the other side of the camp and actually riding into the open road.
They're not moving now. They're not moving at all. They're just standing right there. The blacksmiths. They're
If you're continuing to look back,
I'm worried
okay,
about
then perception
him.
tests every time you look back.
I'm
See if
looking
you
back
can, you can see
frequently.
them through the procession and the crowds. This is also a display
Okay.
of Carl and His
She's not
Majesty.
really interested
15.
in Nils.
Yeah,
She's looking at the
16.
crowd to make sure nobody's.
You see
I
them
have to
still
keep
sitting
an
in
eye
the
on
same place. And you can see Nils
Is he
at that
jogging
point
there?
talking to them, actually.
Oh,
He's
okay.
made it to them. You told him well and soon enough that he was able to run
Yeah.
there, but he's going to have a much longer run to get back to you.
Yeah. Well, he said he was
You can
up
make
for
another
the
one if you want. You
challenge.
make one more perception test.
Okay. Oh, 16. Keep rolling this.
17 this time.
Weird.
Okay. Boring holes in my fucking skull just there.
Sorry.
So.
It's that 0 charisma, honey. I can't control it.
So yeah, with a 16 to 17, that was two of you?
Yeah.
All right, you're able to see. You see them start to move towards the back of the procession. Once you're starting to gather, their position within the crusade has changed. So if you remember, Helmut... Well, no, it was Vanderpeer who explained it to you that the closer you are to Carl in the camp, the more in favor you are with the crusade. You can see that they are being forcefully pushed further back. And you see his sword bouncing on his back, and he's like fucking trucking to get back to you guys.
I just envision it as a Muppet. That's just.
I just.
Oh, the new one from the Muppet movie, Running?
Yeah. Also, actually looking at the crowd as they're
Okay.
going to make sure nothing looks suspicious or anything. She's kind of just keeping an
Okay,
eye
so
on
you want to do...
everybody.
Okay, you need to make separate perception tests for that. You can make
Doing
two.
like our job.
You can make two.
Okay.
They were focusing on what would I call him? I would call him a provisioner. I wouldn't call him a blacksmith. Because he
Yeah.
wasn't specifically making anything, but he has the tools to repair and fix. He's kind of like ye olde handyman, it seems more like.
He's the repair NPC.
All right, so I got a 24 and 16. It was a natural 20.
Okay, with a natural 20, most of the people in the crowd have their eyes locked on Carl. But you're noticing other people within the rest of the crowd. People who aren't looking at Carl. One in particular you see looking at you. She's a bit of a homely looking woman. Wrinkles, boil on her lip, rags, just... But, you know, as far as humans go, you know that if she had been born into a better station, she might have been considered pretty. Because she wouldn't have all of the
Health concerns that surface.
the poor conditions that the poor live in. She's not looking at Carl. She's looking at you three as you ride past. What's your reaction?
As like unconsciously pulls her gloves a little bit higher. And does it look like she's looking in like a cynical way? Is she looking like what's her expression?
You got a crit, so I will say that she's. Oops, sorry. My
But
toe bopped.
I assumed
the-
it was a cat, but
Yeah, me too.
that was my toe. I had stretched and I accidentally bopped the camera tripod. She has this look of she's absorbing information. A dissecting stare. Attentive. You see her eyes going all over, but specifically going from each of you and giving that up and down look.
do I notice if she's with a wagon or what section of the camp she would be with? Trying to take mental note of I can't leave the guard station right now, but your interest is reciprocated, ma'am. So she's trying to mentally figure out who she's with, what if they were to try and find her, revisit.
You are able to keep an eye on her. Well, do you directly look at her, or do you just kind of take note and keep riding?
She'll give a awkward eye contact moment. Lena isn't
okay.
shy from
So you're giving an awkward eye contact moment. Let's hold on one second.
like that cold but quiet stare that she usually has.
When you glanced over, she was actually looking at Hildebrand. So she didn't really catch that you caught on. But shortly after, as soon as you give that look, you're able to move back into formation and keep riding. What was the other? There was a
16.
16. After that, you don't really notice anything too spectacular. You do see a couple of, dirty-looking people amongst the crowd. They don't look as intent on keeping an eye on the crusade. Like they're not as engrossed as Carl is. Do you know that Carl has been speaking in a low, regular chant of "To Altdorf to claim my place. To Altdorf to claim my place.
It's like a mantra.
Everybody needs to make wisdom saves."
This did not go well for us last time.
With advantage.
With
Yes,
advantage, because
yes.
yes, I have
Because
the bell.
of bells and
And I also aura of protection.
once you get advantage once, you have advantage. That's it.
Okay.
Laniera gets it naturally at being an elf person's.
Okay, I'm glad it's with advantage because I rolled a 2 and a 17.
Ghoulie just gave one of the best ideas.
6.
A 2 and a 17?
Right, so I'm
17.
glad I rolled
I
the.
got a 17.
17.
12.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 17 plus 3, so an unnatural 20.
Your is that a 17 total?
Yes.
Okay. You feel it again, and you're able to shrug off that feeling. Your love is reignited
Oh God.
for the child. So
All right, so we now know that
you're now. We'll give you some time riding. At this point, we'll say it's been a little bit of time riding in the line. Several times you've been offered water and snacks
Nope.
while you're riding.
And if Nils tries to take water, I tell him no.
Slap it out of his hands.
Okay. He does look a little, thirsty and tired.
we've got our own.
We have our own share
we
with
have our
them.
own rations, our own skins and whatnot.
I don't.
You share amongst each other. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know how to go get water. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be that guy.
I mean,
You didn't
yeah.
tell me you filled up your water skins. That's
Me-
gonna be a -4 penalty to your next check.
Not going to be that guy.
Thank you.
Fucking hate that guy.
But his name's Steve.
That guy.
That guy.
Dinkelberg.
The crusade carries on. and you move in deeper into the Drakvald on your way to Altdorf. You have pretty clear weather. In the shade of the trees of the Drakvald forest, it's rather dark. By comparison, for midday, it should be blinding. In the Drakvald,
I keep looking
you
around.
ride in
I'm
the shade.
watching.
Okay, make some perception tests, everybody. I'll assume you're all kind of keeping your heads on swivels, and it looks good as a guard to be
Yeah.
looking around instead of just checking your nails.
Well, I'm looking for a completely different reason. though.
11
21.
because of my prediction.
I'm waiting for an arrow to hit me in the head.
21? Okay.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
At 11.
11. Okay. I'll have you roll another one in a moment. The pair of you. You notice more people who have, as you've been riding, you notice scouts occasionally, people taking notice of you. You're able to tell the difference between those who look up at Carl, past you, and those whose eyes trail on you for a couple of moments. There's a few of them that seem... You're new, so obviously they would probably take a look at you. But there's a few others that their vision seems a little bit more intent. So I'm going to need you to make investigation checks.
Not me, though, right?
No,
'Cause
you
I
didn't see
it,
shit.
Yeah.
You're too busy telling Nils to, like, have some water.
No.
Eat a snack.
Yeah.
No, you're giving
Yes,
him those
okay,
things.
Yes, I'm taking care of my boy.
Eat some bread.
20.
Have a cookie.
19.
Oh, you both saved, so I won't write a note for it. You both notice there's a weird consistency to all the people that you're noticing looking at you like this. And you've noticed they come from quite a few elements of the Crusade. Sometimes you see people... Now, the way the Crusade has been moving, you notice that people run up occasionally to run next to Carl just to look at him throughout the day. And Carl will usually give a little bit of a wave, unless he's being tutored at the time, which he is at this moment by Helmet. Learning his catechism. Occasionally you see... some of these, though, are... part of Krieger's men. Some of the ones taking notice of you are the ones that are particularly interested in you.
In me.
Both of you. Okay. All of you. Like I said, Krieger's men. Jan's mercenary. One of Eisenbach's spearmen run up front. Washerwoman. People of different status all running up. You notice the consistency, though. They all have a bruise, a bump, a boil, a scar, a redness, a cold sore, all on their lip, their lower lip. Anywhere along the lower lip, you see some of them having a large sack, some of them a veiny redness kind of crawling through. Some of them you don't actually see any discoloration, but you notice that one side is very fat.
And these are the ones that are looking at us so intently.
Yes. That's who you notice. That's the consistency in those. Now, as I said, there are some that aren't.
Yeah.
That don't have that. They're probably looking at you because you're new.
But the ones that are looking with a critical eye that seem like they're measuring us with a certain style of interest all have that consistent malady.
And that's what you see while riding.
Leaning back in her saddle, she like makes eye contact with Hildebrand. You noticed it too?
Yes.
Did
Pay attention to the
Krieger-
mic pop, sorry.
Sorry.
Did Krieger have anything? Just a finely manicured man?
It's quite the bushy mustache
Eh.
and facial hair.
It covers his mouth.
But
It's
I
one of
think
those.
it was the
It's
upper,
that
though.
Burfer Burmery style. Like
Oh,
it
oh.
curls up, it curls under almost, and it kind of covers the lower, and then it's curled up around the outside, and then it moves down into this big.
But you
mutton
said
chop.
he's clean
He
shaved.
shaves from here down.
So we
Okay.
would be able to see the bottom of his lip?
If you want to take a quick look, you can roll a quick perception test without looking obvious that you're looking at him. If you want to be sly about it, I'll allow a wisdom stealth check if you want to look surreptitiously.
Stealth?
Wisdom, though, not dexterity. You're adding your wisdom
knowing,
bonus.
like, how to
Wisdom
look in just the right way to not
So
let him know you're staring at him.
If you have stealth, you add your perception, your proficiency bonus, and then instead of your dexterity, you're going to add your wisdom.
Oh man.
Okay, because I have +9 on stealth.
Yes.
So I add that.
No. You add if you have a expertise.
Yes.
You don't have +9. You have +6, and
6.
then you add the wisdom bonus.
16.
Okay, so that in this case it would be a +8.
Yeah.
And that would be a 22.
TKD, are you trying to imply I don't know what the word surreptitious means?
Uh-oh.
Do not, please.
Oh, here we go.
Please, we need a game.
Triggered.
We have to play a game.
Vol-
Don't troll him,
Vocabulary
please.
check for surreptitiously.
Do not bait our DM.
Please.
Okay.
want to live.
You got a 16? You got a
22.
Okay, both of you are able to kind of take a quick glance. In your eyes darting while being attentive guards, you're able to make this look good. You're able to see that doesn't look like he has anything floating around there. No growths, no boils, no streaks, no scar tissue.
Inflammation.
He looks like a healthy Imperial soldier.
He's just tired, weary. That's not what we need.
Yeah, the thing that you notice is his tiredness.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would. I don't know if this is me figuring it out or Hildebrand figuring it out. Figuring out a possible.
Once you have figured it, once you have thought about it, think about is it meta knowledge or is it Hildebrand knowledge? That's when you think about that. Anyway,
If you want to key her in about what we're keeping an eye out for.
Oh, did you say something to me?
No,
wow.
Please stop.
Microphone.
It seems.
Thank you, guys.
It seems that we have taken the interest away from Carl in some instances. And we are being scanned, so to speak, and stared at. But it would seem that all of them have very in common various, well, I wouldn't say deformities, but marks, bruises, scabs, boils, some sort of trait of disease around their mouths.
Disease, he says.
They've been touched.
My eyebrows are masked by the hat.
They
so-
are. Unfortunately, it shadows it, which is equal parts ominous and frustrating to
Yeah.
look at.
And we were
Wearing
looking
my
to
poker
see
face.
if Krieger had such
Sentinels.
deformity, but he does not. But I think that something is not right.
As you're leaning over and speaking, from behind you, you hear road wardens.
Like how we're all like, where is he?
Yes?
From the palanquin, Carl is beckoning you.
We've been chosen.
Krieger,
Do I see how gleeful they are?
Me.
they look, yeah, they look a little happy. Krieger rides out of position and says, as long as he needs you, and takes up your spot so that you can ride back to ride next to the palanquin.
I'm gonna signal for Nils to come with me.
He moves back as well.
I suppose I'll just stay where I am.
Yeah.
You tried to kill him. He doesn't love you like he loves us.
The boy hops while on the palanquin. You see the men kind of as he shakes the palanquin from side to side with his looks like genuine excitement. And then he plops, legs dangling from the side of the palanquin next to you. The men on his side kind of shouldering the extra weight
I can
shifted,
see
but
this?
he's rather light. You're next to Krieger.
I can see this.
As
though.
he sits down, he sees the two of you. Oh, your friend too.
You don't have to hang out with Krieger.
Hildebrand!
Bard, come here.
All right, I go.
What is it?
Krieger brings a few of men out of formation to take up the
Cover.
places that you were at. He says, "So, you're road wardens, right?" Yes. Saying, and you're their servant
Chronicler.
Okay.
I'm their scribe.
I know that one. Have you been on any adventures?
Instantly locks eyes with Brandy. I think quite a few.
That is exactly why we keep him around. Won't you tell him a story?
And before you can speak, he just, what's the biggest thing you've killed? Have you seen a dragon before? Have you ever been in a big battle? Please tell me.
Yes, to two of them.
Well, we have faced numerous challenges and threats. Nothing as grand as a dragon, though.
Then
Although we did face off against some rather large Cygors.
what's a Cygor?
Cygor is a giant. A giant with horns.
How big was he?
Oh, he was as tall as a hill.
Oh, you must have been terrified.
Well, fortunately, we had a small army with us, but we were able to rally everyone together.
You were the commanders?
In a manner of speaking, we took the point in the battle, but there were many who fought. There were some who fell. Sadly. But he was overcome, and we were able to continue on our trip. And it was shortly after that we came upon the crusade.
Lear's eyes kind of float to the badge the mutant had given Carmen, with like just kind of a hint of sadness while they're discussing it.
He looks at you and he says, Jan told me that you were with wood elves.
They actually helped defend when the beastmen came.
There were over 300 beastmen attacking. Do you remember the Reaper's Bounty? I was told you passed through. That
did.
was where we were. We had to hold down the fort there.
Jan says they were the ones that put you up to attacking me. And I want to let you know, and he holds up a hand. I really do forgive you. I understand that there are good elves and there are evil elves. And sometimes the bad ones, they do bad things to people. So I don't blame you.
Well, I thank you for that.
It's that makes me happy.
Is he still like covered in like cuts from when he threw the?
Oh, he probably got all the healers. Like,
Yeah.
let me fix that for you, sir. Let me fix.
Completely healed up.
Well, the next day he still had them. Yeah.
He looks at Lynira. Sorry, Carmen. He looks directly at Carmen.
I didn't get to see the fight, but I heard so much screaming and yelling, and Helmut said that you all fought the vampire. Did he hurt you?
He blushes so, like, beet red.
Can I see?
I lean in and like pull aside this thing, show him. It's like still healing, I guess.
Yeah, it anybody else who's looking at it, because you haven't had a chance to look at it in a
Yeah.
mirror, really. It looks like if somebody's hand... You ever see a grip bruise where somebody grabbed somebody too hard? But it's only got 3 portions to it. And within these 2 finger divots is where you can see the deep marks of the fangs that sunk into her neck.
This is... Oh... It's terrible.
He looks around for a few moments.
If you would let me, I would bless it. Helmut tells me I should do these things. I don't want you to be hurt. Everyone does so many great things for me to help me go to help me go get to Kislev. It's fantastic. It's like, I love each and every one of you. So,
He holds out his small hand. He's all of 9 years old. And he's small for a 9-year-old too.
Aw.
Like,
To watch?
I did
detect
not,
magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not think he was that little. I
Oh,
thought
he is like
No, he's
a,
small.
Yeah.
I did not
He's
know
a
that.
small
Okay.
child. And he puts his hand out, and you feel the warmth. Lanier doesn't see anything. No changes in magic. You see that wonderful glow from him. That warm blue divine.
The Azir mixed with the the Ulgu.
But you barely Ulgu. You don't even you're barely able to notice them. You just it's the wind's getting in the way. They swirl amongst each other all the time, but you see that wonderful glow from him.
But nothing happens when he blesses her.
Nothing from his hand as he closes his eyes and he mumbles a few words and he says,
Sigmar's blessing.
he pulls his hand back and then he kisses his hand and presses it to your forehead.
Think that's what Helmut told me to do. Maybe he told me to actually kiss the forehead. I'll ask next time. I'm sorry if I did it wrong and you're not blessed. I
It's more about the intention than the
really
ritual.
new at this, and thank you.
And as he's saying thank you, you hear from the other side of the palanquin, you can see, like, through the legs of the throne, you see Helmut. Carl!
Carl, please, we need to finish your catechisms. We must go over the life of Sigmar again. You see his shoulders kind of slump. It's like,
Well, we'll be here.
If you ever want to learn about the winds, I would help.
so,
If you ever had the interest.
you're a navigator. That's fantastic. I would love to learn about the winds and how to sail. I heard some elves came from the sea. You must be one of them.
Be more specific.
He's like, I'm sorry. And he jumps up onto the palanquin and he kind of, the fucking poor guy's holding the damn palanquin, bouncing back and forth,
Clearly,
trying
we
not
can get
to.
worse jobs in this camp. Like,
Yeah.
You see him jump up and he plops down into the throne and picks up a big book that was next to it that he had thrown down to talk to you guys. Pulls it into his lap, and you hear him start going through the Catechism of Sigmar again. Speaking the rather sing-songy prayers, talking about Sigmar's unifying of the tribes and the battle of Blackfire Pass. Was it Blackfire Pass?
I think it is Blackfire.
I think it is Blackfire Pass. Battle of Blackfire Pass. When he joined up with the dwarves and how he received the hammer from the dwarven king, Galmaraz, the helm splitter, and all of these wonderful little things. It warms Carmen's heart to hear the old prayers said, and he's doing it as best as he can. And that's when you see Krieger turns around, sees that you're not talking to Carl anymore. Back to the front, and he lets his horse slow down to let you move up and around. And he gets situated back in his position to Carl's right flank, putting you back at the front.
It's unfortunate. They teach
Does
that kid.
it look any different?
Oh God. Oh. Does it look?
It doesn't look infected.
Okay.
It actually kind of looks like it's healing over.
Like because of him, like it looks better, or no change?
You would think
You
so.
think so?
Also, with arcane knowledge, do I need to be leery of the fact that she was like? Is there any?
We'll make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Let's see if you figured that out.
Okay. 20.
You're fairly sure most of the rumors that fly about vampires were, if you're bitten 3 times, you're under their thrall, and those who are bitten are doomed to rise as the living. All that crap.
Crap.
It's crap. Zombies
Yeah.
come from necromancy. They don't come from vampire bites. Vampires turn when vampires share the lifeblood amongst each other. There is turning rituals. It's a part of necromancy. Vampires are not
Yeah.
special
No.
magical creatures.
I mean, I know how.
no,
out of character.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, cool.
I was explaining this world's specific.
Yeah.
It's all part of necromancy. So, there you go. That's what you know.
As she's like, oh God.
Would you rather have been bitten?
No, I'm glad it's healing up. Even if you're being a bit of a cunt today.
Wow.
It's just there's so much.
That's
But
fine.
What's really important is that they're not teaching that kid anything. They're teaching him dogma. There's so much to the world that he needs to
They're
like
teaching him the most important thing.
drop him in the middle of the woods. And what is a prayer going to
Yes,
help
that's
him with?
true.
Would a prayer have helped him if the vampire got any closer?
No.
They could
Well-
be teaching him so much extra. Like there's
Prayer didn't help me.
It clearly did not.
All right, is everything good again? There we are, ladies. Let's continue riding on. Happy.
I love this.
Right, on we go.
Clippity
Have some
cloppity,
s-
clippity
have some
cloppity, we're a
snozzberries.
family.
Have
What's
some-
candy?
Have some snozzberries.
Goodness.
Oh dear, my coconut has a flat.
It's more time to ride along. Make more perception tests. Fairly sure I had you guys set in
7?
early autumn, so it's a cool breeze coming through the trees. Occasionally you see it. Even for the Drakvald, those of you who are
21.
21. Well, I'll get to remember your numbers. Even for the Drakvald, you know, just the presence of Carl seems to make everything just so much more pleasant.
Well,
The
they do.
shadows don't. Yeah, that's why I was saying them.
Oh.
The shadows don't seem as dark or as long. The animals don't seem as threatening. You can even see a bear off the path, and it quickly makes its way deeper into the wood. It's kind of chilly. You're getting a breeze occasionally that just not so much refreshing, more like, ugh. This is still the Drakvald forest. There could be danger around every corner. What's all your perception tests?
21.
7?
16?
You see more throughout the day. Every hour or so, you notice some afflicted lip individual makes
Not
their
the
way.
same people.
Not the same people. We're
Still
talking
more.
like you've seen maybe 10
Ugh.
since you rode out. Always somebody cycling in and out. That's when
and now,
oh,
all right.
okay, wait a second. You had a question first. What was up?
Would Lanira make a connection that we could probably turn that down a little bit? if
That's
it's
all right.
with the disease, etc. With Nurgle, like, would she? Is that like a normal thing to associate in without her having?
Make an
explicit
Arcana
knowledge?
check, but I'm not setting it high.
Okay.
Make an Arcana check. What you got?
Oh, 19 plus 7.
Yeah, that's Nurgle.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to make the connection between disease, boils, and things
Yeah.
like that, especially if it's all in the same spot. They're probably connected.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure it wasn't an out of character thing.
No, that wasn't meta knowledge. That's definitely
That's-
something that's
Yeah.
and like I said, the roll, the DC wasn't high.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering too before. That's when I went,
Make the Arcana check.
I can't, I don't have Arcana. Well, I have.
You
Jack
can
of
make
all
an
trades.
intelligence check, and you have Jack of all trades.
19.
Yeah, you're able to make that connection. The DC isn't that high.
Okay.
But you see more of them. You see about, like I said, grand total throughout the day, and you've been on the road maybe 6 hours at this point.
Okay,
You've
no-
seen close to 10.
Okay, now what I wanted to ask was, now these aren't people that we're seeing that we're passing as we're coming through.
No,
They're
these-
part of the caravan that just seemed to run, that seemed to come up to the front.
This ritual of running to the forward to look at Carl. You've seen Brothers of the Open Wound running, dropping to their knees on the side of the road as Carl passes by and cutting into their chests to make the hammer symbol deep and fresh, and then holding up the blade and singing his praise. You see, well, you don't see any of the brothers of the book guys.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
they?
They're slow.
They're slow. They can't keep
Yeah.
up. They're not running to the front of shit.
Well, when you have that many books strapped to you.
Something heart. It was the something heart.
With the burning.
Burdened heart.
Burdened heart.
Yeah.
Burdens.
The brothers
Oh,
of the
burden.
burdened heart. They're not.
heart.
They're not running up anywhere. You see other people running forward. You see a mother run forward with her child, an infant, dropping to her knees and holding the baby up as Carl passes, and Carl
bless it?
looks up from the book and Sigmar's blessing be with you. We go to Altdorf. And nods to Helmut, and Helmut, very good, goes back to teaching. You get people running forward,
Okay, so these are people coming from different parts of the caravan.
Different parts of the camp. You get Krieger's men running up, dropping to their knees, putting their halberds laterally in front of them so that they can just open their arms and praise. You've got priests. You've got soldiers. One of the knights pulls off to the side, drops back, and holds his hand to his chest. But there's some of them that don't seem to be praying as hard as the others.
And they're looking right at us.
And you're noticing at least 10 of them throughout the day have been looking at you, and they all happen to have that little thing on their lips.
You're seeing this.
Helmut's concern about chaos is founded. Leans into Carmen. I don't know if you've noticed the thing. Did he tell you when I asked about the...
More stage whisper, please.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
I have to stay over here, though.
Yeah. Helmut had that concern about chaos amongst the camp, and before we got here, we did too. I think we actually have a way of identifying the correlation between the diseased and grandfather.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Right?
And you should know better than anyone.
An intimate knowledge.
I mentioned that before.
Darkness, my old friend.
The people with the marking must have been touched. I have been fortunate not to develop a similar affliction, but that's what it seems to be.
But they're staring at us, which goes back to how they keep seeming to follow us or find us and call us by name.
I don't know why these people are all staring at us now.
Well, we are
What could they learn?
up in their business. We have been hunting down information for what feels like months.
You hear, while you're talking, you hear a small voice. Sold, sharpened, daggers, armor repairs. Ow! Damn it! Oh, fuck you too, then!
I look.
You actually see, just maybe 10, 20 feet behind you, you see Eckbert. He's holding the side of his face.
They're hurting Eckbert?
Who did?
And as you see him holding the side of his face, you see a little trace of red running down the side of his down his chin, down his neck. And then you see another 2 rocks fly at him.
From where?
From the crowd. From the crusade. And he's just like, you fine! God doesn't love you! And then he starts running away.
Wait! Like, Lydia actually calls out to try and call him over.
Old person.
Yes, he keeps running.
Damn it, I keep on forgetting to buy something from him. What, you thought it was a concern?
Your table.
Getting a new one in May.
Oh my god.
We're getting a new one soon anyway. It's okay.
Oh my god.
We're getting a new what?
Table.
Oh.
Damn it! I still need that 100 gold of silver shavings.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, your bits are going to another table.
What
10 bits from Ghoulie for God doesn't love you and running away.
No, the first thing you had him say after he got hit was like, well, fuck you too. Like, really? A little kid said that?
Yeah. Oh, he's got a mouth on him.
I love
I was
him.
cursing as a kid too.
I
Yeah,
love
that's normal.
him. I love him.
I love our different upbringings in and out of character.
Oh no.
So yeah, you see the dust trails as he runs further back. As you see this little bit of commotion, that's Krieger gets your attention as you're looking back. Just, after Mongo's done giving us bits, he says, all right, shift change. Stay within eyesight. If you do want to leave anywhere else, make sure you go ahead and give me a heads up. I'll send someone with you. Remember, You are accepted here and you've been forgiven by Carl, but you're still under probation. Be mindful. And fresh men and fresh horses come up to catch up to the side of the crusade.
Linear, like, after they're told, she's like, yeah, okay, peels off and goes to try and catch up to
Expert.
Eggy.
Egbert.
Eggy.
As you're riding back along, you see all the different... are you guys going with, or is this just...
Yeah, no, we'll stick together.
Okay.
Keep up, Niels.
Oh, he's fun.
He is. Oh, he is.
fun.
He has his...
he is a strapping
hold on
young
a second.
lad.
He has this desire to prove himself.
Great band.
Ow, 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 ooh, ow, ooh, ow, ooh, ow, ooh. The shield.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
okay, I was like, what am I looking at?
strong.
All right.
He's strong.
Did she need help, a boost?
No, she was sitting here. I went to go pick her up, and then she obviously wanted to go back up there.
Okay.
I
So we gave
mean,
her her spot. Yeah.
Nils is stronger than both of you.
Yes, I
By
know.
quite a bit.
So, well, now that he's not in procession, he's just carrying the shield
Yeah.
on one hand. He actually, he's, while he's kind of jogging, keeping up. Sir, can I put the shield on your saddle?
course. All
Thank
right,
you,
I
sir.
stop.
Ding. He
Does
just,
he do that while I'm
while running, he just fucking slaps it
Respect.
on there, adjusts his bastard sword scabbard, and keeps trucking again, and
There's
just
a backflip.
catching up.
I know, right? Jesus. There's a cartwheel down the walk.
kind of tease him like, there's
He's a-
always a spot on the horse when you get tired.
I don't deserve it yet. As he's running. It doesn't take you long to catch up with a small child while riding a horse.
Yeah.
You
The
see
horse
him-
is stronger than me. It
he's
doesn't
not-
get winded.
He's not running anymore because he's out of range. Everyone loves him. He's out of range of the stone throws,
Oh my
or at least the people who were throwing stones at him. And you see him, he's kind of sulking, walking, and he's holding the side of his head, occasionally kicking a rock into the ditch along the road as you come up behind him.
Yeah. As she gets a little closer, she kind of just like slides off the horse and like holds the reins to like. I don't need to be riding a horse to continue to talk.
Okay.
Come here.
He turns around for a second and he throws his fists up, and you can see he has a giant gash going along the side of his head from his temple down to like here, just above his ear. And it's if you've ever seen even the slightest head wound, they bleed. So his face and side of his head is drenched.
Okay, so he looks like Ric Flair right now.
Yeah, oh no, he spins around, he's got blonde hair and all. He's got the tuft of hair that's standing straight up, that's pink from all the blood. And he holds his hands up like he's ready to fight, and he's standing in like a, well, his kid scrapped before probably, kind of stance. And he,
Linear holding her reins. It's fine.
oh, it's just you. Oh God.
Gesturing to Carmen, like, oh my God. Can you give me?
Yeah, come
Who
here.
did it, lad?
He walks over to you. It's just, he had his, it crumpled up in his hand was a piece. You see his sleeve had been ripped, and he plugged it to the side of his head. It's soaked. He pulls his hand down after he put it back up there. Billy gives 100 bits to adopt another baby. She pulls he pulls the rag from the side.
D&D daycare coming soon.
He pulls it down from the side of his head. Squire collection for Carmen. So wait. Let's get back to it. Get back. So he pulls it down, walks over, and it's you can see it you can see it build up and then fall like a glugging, like you would pour when you pour thin syrup, how it just kind of builds up for a second and then falls. So it's flowing in like pulses the side of his head. He's just like, it's not that bad. I've been hit hard. Pussies.
Come here.
He walks over to you.
I'm gonna like put one hand on his shoulder and then like kind of like wipe away some blood with my own sleeve, and I'm gonna lay on hands.
Okay. He's only lost like 5.
Yeah, I was gonna give 5, just enough like to stop the pulsing blood.
As you
Yeah.
we take the rag out of his hands, and you just go ahead and you're wiping it and smoothing the torn flesh edges from the side of the cut. It's not super deep, and you'll just hold your hand and apply pressure for a couple of seconds, and that seems enough to just stop the blood.
Yeah. This is
Pulled
my
her hand
soup
away,
habit.
and he's like, thanks, bastards.
People will always judge you from where you come from.
Who did it, lad?
It says
like-
more about them than
He
you.
look as soon as you say that, he's just like, oh, all right, you know already too.
It means nothing.
It means a fucking hell of a lot to these assholes.
Well, it doesn't say much. Like I said, it says about their intelligence. There are a lot of dumb people out there that will judge you for stupid things that have nothing to do with you.
I don't feel like trying to bark anymore. I'm gonna walk back to my dad's car.
Actually, would you prefer to go back to your dad's cart with 150 gold?
I think
Right?
What was that for?
it was Mungo for Revenge Quest activated.
Revenge. Who did this to you?
Just start beating up people in the parade.
I just thought it was funny that you offered him 150 and then the
Yeah, that was great
scream if you
timing.
want it kicked in. This is what. What do we have that you would give us 150 gold for?
I need silver shavings. It doesn't need to be anything. Just shavings.
I don't know if my dad has that. You can come with me if you want.
Is that in eyesight? Does that count as in eyesight? For our
Within the
babysitting?
crusade, or you know, and you've noticed as you kind of rode away, there's
watching.
there's a Krieger soldier within range of you now. Especially since you stopped, it was
Yeah.
easy for them to kind of catch up. You know, there's a Krieger halberdier kind of standing off to the side, keeping an eye on you. It looks like he's watching the crusade itself, but he obviously looks down the road at you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the guy that was tying his boot all last episode.
No,
guy
that's
was
That was an
throwing
Eisenbach man.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
nice.
Make perception tests, and also be careful when you pour that soda.
Yes,
Oh my god.
Yes.
If you spill that, I'm not
Hey,
I'm not
Gus will be the
protecting
one
you.
pissed at you.
I'm
What'd you
not
get?
protecting
9.
you.
9?
I got
9.
a 7.
7. Okay.
What
an
is this
8.
for again?
Perception.
16.
Damn it.
Okay.
You ruined it.
He is not one of the afflicted. He seems to be. He's kept it clean.
Yeah, we'll go back with you. That's fine.
This is-
We'll walk with you.
All right. I hope we have that. That would make Dad so much happier. He's been angrier than the people. All right, come on. And he starts trudging along. He's still occasionally wiping at even though the blood stopped, he's just
Yeah.
wiping his face with the sleeve,
She's
with the ripped
occasionally
sleeve.
looking like with venom around, like, go on, please, throw another rock right now. Like, radiating that
Nobody
bleed.
seems to be throwing rocks, but you definitely get more than a few stink eyes at him and a couple of like spats. Just good old and a
I'm
curse.
gonna ride
At his feet.
between the crowd and him.
Okay. Once you start doing that, you notice that the fuckery kind of reduces a little
Yeah,
bit.
They don't want to spit at me.
No, I swear.
That's right.
You will get quite the
Nils-
suntan.
Nils walks over to Eckbert and he's like, "If you give me a moment, I can help you with that." He's like, "With what?" Hold on, and he goes into his pack and pulls out like it looks like bandage, and he pulls out needle and thread. And he says, "I can do this while walking. It's no problem."
My
He
God.
starts.
I just suture a wound while you're
No.
walking?
He casts mend on his shirt and finishes the sleeve out so that they're even.
Oh my god.
Both moms are a little proud right now.
He says I would have given you a bandage first rather than you ripping your sleeve off, but you did it in the reverse, so I gave you a bandage for your sleeve. And he turns to Carmen. He's like, I'm
No, you
sorry,
did
sir.
good.
I just this
Tell-
comes
Say to him.
it comes from my acolyte training. We were trained. We were told to help those in need when they needed it, and I did not ask you my proper tenets for what I am allowed to do under your as training underneath you as a proper squire. And I'm sorry.
It's
I will
fine.
accept any punishment that you have in mind for me.
It was good. What you did was good. You helped someone.
Yes, but I didn't know if I should ask first, and I acted out of turn. I am very sorry.
We were all helping him. You're part of our group now.
Genuine warm smile.
I'm happy.
Kind of just.
I have to add a new page.
Ghoulie gave 10 bits for he's a fucking gift.
Did you hear what he
I have to add a new page to my book.
Oh, there you go.
And I say that to him.
Oh. All of Ghoulie's bits have been praising praising the young squire tonight. He just hearing, you see that he's not used to this.
Yeah.
It's receiving praise for what was expected of him in some ways. So hearing he's doing a good job, it's odd, but he obviously appreciates it, but he almost in such a way if he doesn't know if he should let you know that he appreciates it. Like, it's very weird, but he still can't it's still welling up a little bit.
Almost feels guilty.
His chest gets a little broader for a second, his posture straightens out for a little bit. And he throws an arm around Eckbert as they walk through to
Carmen's
go.
dead. I don't have lay on hands. Are you all right?
I'm so happy.
And they
When I said take up collecting something, I did not
hobby
mean,
we had in
I did
mind.
not mean small children.
Oh man.
We're brothers now.
Oh my god.
you arrive.
Daycare is real.
You arrive at the
Stop it. They're brothers now.
Eckbert, he gives after a little bit of walking, he gives Nils a slap on the chest as kind of like a thank you, and then he runs off. And you see Ayla's cart, and a very disgruntled looking Ayla, who does not look in tip-top shape. He's got a black eye. You see his shirt's ripped. You can see that the wagon wheel's been repaired recently. Probably within the last day. Fresh spokes. And you can see some really shoddy, just quickly slapped on their planks to repair some kind of either a break in the hull of the cart. And that's he looks up and says, "Oh, good to see you folk. What could I do for you?"
First, you can explain who did this to you.
Oh, it's everyone. It's been a nightmare.
When did this start?
Started maybe, about 2 hours after the dead were done attacking, somebody figured out my horse was. He points to the horse in front of him. It's a darker red than most of the other horses you've seen, with very very dark, heavy shadows in its fur.
So it's a regional.
It's a regional
identification.
horse. Yeah.
It's like the difference between a Rohan horse and other horses.
Mm-hmm. And he they noticed my horse, Savanyan Red. And then they started saying, "Oh, it's his fault." Started calling me necromancer, some of them. Some
Because
were
if you were a
saying,
necromancer, this is how you would choose to spend your day.
"Well, don't you understand? These are the trappings of a evil, dark lord of the undead." At least they hit me and not the horse. At least I can take that to bed at night. But, yeah, they came by, started shouting. Some of them said, "Get the witch hunters." I yelled at them saying, "The witch hunter's dead." Yeah, he died a little bit after they showed up. It's a real big fright.
What was the name of the witch hunter? What
His
an
name
odd
was-
name.
His name was Hachu, son of Asniz.
Sneeze. He, oh, I don't remember their names. They showed up though, all fire and brimstone, saying that they'd take down the false prophet and saying he was a witch and everything. And then they formed up with him, like most do. And next, I think it was 2 days later, they came out of their tent all covered in pox, throwing up blood, pus coming from their eyes. Died right there. Everybody said that they weren't witch hunters. They were Nurgle followers that had come to kill Carl, and they succumbed to their own worship or some such like that. I forget who was saying it, but they was going around. They was shouting for it. So after they said the witch hunters were dead, they said, "Well, we have to take care of them ourselves." And there was a few of them who weren't completely daft. A blacksmith down the road said that obviously I had nothing to do with it because I was protecting my son the whole damn time. But a few of them still throwing a good few punches, throw rocks, usual. So that's about when it happened. You've kind of lined up alongside him now at this point, riding in,
Yeah.
and Eckbert's kind of hopped up on the back, and his feet are kicking, and Nils looks to you and says, points to himself and points to the back of the cart as well. He hops back up and pulls a piece of bread out of his pocket and shares it with Eckbert, and the two of them start chowing down together on the back of the cart.
How old is Eckbert?
Eckbert looks maybe like 11 or 12.
Okay.
But not a scrawny 11
Yeah.
or 12. He's got like dirty blonde hair. He's, not completely well kept, but, not terribly.
With little red highlights right now.
Yeah.
Woo!
So you can hear water kind of glugging in the back as he runs water, over his head. As Nils holds
This
back
is
his shirt so he doesn't soak
Something that
himself.
We need to look into these witch hunters that died of a plague.
Well, you didn't come back here just to check up on me.
Yes, we did actually.
Oh, shoot right, you. Fuck off.
Lily actually laughs a little bit in character.
What can I do for you? You gotta come back. If you come to see me, you gotta need something. What do you need? I'll see what I can do.
I was wondering, is there any way you could procure silver shavings? Nothing fancy.
Shavings.
Just the shavings, the materials. You've been very kind to us here. If I can find a way to get it through you, I would prefer it.
Well, I mean, most of the people here pay in silver. They don't really have gold to go around, so they've got shillings to galore if you really need it. It's in my lockbox in the back. What's a silver coin but shaving silver?
I seem to recall having this conversation.
When we wanted to go into the jeweler's place as well.
And I had the tinker tools.
Yeah. If you could shave that down for me, I would happily pay.
Oh, if you want, I'll give you my bolt cutter, and you can go ahead and just do an even trade if you want to cut it yourself.
Linear looks a little like...
All right.
Well,
Her do labor, physical labor.
He says, all right. Hold on a second.
No!
He says, Eggy, get up here.
Niels can do it.
And you hear from the back, coming, Dad! Coming, Dad! Trying to sound. Hops down, runs around the outside. He's like, hey, come on up here. I'm gonna go in the back and shave down some shillings. You'll forgive me if I don't do it out in the open. I don't want to be opening up my coffers in the middle of this with everything going on. You'll understand.
That's very fair.
All right, you can come back in an hour or so. I'll have it ready for you. Just need to cut these things down.
Linda's like, I'm sorry, and here, and she hands him 150 gold.
Oh.
It doesn't make up for everything, but...
Well, this is how much silver you need.
I only need 100 worth of the silver. I'm
Oh.
saying if you decide to leave this place and you needed the ability to do so, maybe this would help get somewhere better.
So,
People are ignorant, and I'm sorry.
throws it in. You're a kind one, Knifey. Thank you. I'll go. Just 100? You sure?
That's all I
I've got
need.
125 in the coffer, so.
It's fine. I only need 100.
All right. See him jump in the back of the covered wagon. He starts going to work.
Yeah,
Was that? Oh,
that's my shopping list.
oh my God!
I had multiple things on there. They were my side quests. I needed to get certain items, and I've been holding on to that.
We got that wax.
That stupid card.
You still haven't.
Haunting me.
Oh, that's right. Is that part of the?
No, I needed that for Magic Circle. I had the two things for that.
honeycomb and the special.
The honeycomb was separate.
The
that
other
was,
spell.
Yeah, that was the other
the
one.
wax.
For Magic Circle.
Specific elven wax.
Yeah, I
from
needed
the
silver
Woodlands.
and iron worth at least 100 gold, which the spell consumes.
And we got the iron a
Ooh.
long time
Yeah.
How
ago.
long does it take to cast that thing?
See, that's the thing that sucks. I really regret taking this because casting time's 1 minute. It lasts an hour. But I really didn't read the component thing before I got the spell. So I'm like, but if I'm gonna have it, I want to be able to use it.
What does it do anyway?
You don't know that. Moving
Yeah,
on.
sorry, yeah, none of your business. I'll teach you at a campfire one day.
So Eckbert's now sitting on the front. Nils has hopped down and he's walking next to the cart. He says, Eckbert looks at you guys. Well, thank you. I don't know if Dad's gonna want to stick around much longer. Especially with all this shit going on.
Honestly, you probably have a better life if you went elsewhere. Why stay where you're not appreciated?
Well, there's money to be made.
There's
You
money
understand
to be
that?
made in the town, somewhere else. That doesn't require you to spend all your money buying new shirts because you ripped your sleeve off because you're bleeding
What was it,
profusely.
Dad, what's that saying? Oh, wait, no, I remember, Dad. Never mind. He's like, yeah, whatever. Just, it was something my my grandmother used to say is that a fool and his coin will shortly be parted. Make sure you're on the other side of the fool.
Oh, ow.
And never. Oh. This is what was the other one? Oh yeah, the other one was never underestimate the stupidity of people in group. No, never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. So we found a large group with what Dad said is a bunch of stupid people, and we made sure that they were fools for the gold. I'm kind of losing where I was trying to make my point, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we try. Never since Mom died, so we do our best.
Do you want to move in with them?
I was like, she
just kind of like jammed that. They got an opening.
right into my
I steady her lower lip because it's quivering like crazy. Easy, easy. Have a cookie.
He's not lean enough.
No.
She has eyes for only one.
Yeah, even though he was. He's probably gonna try and kill you at some point.
Oh, good. I'm bait for your booty call.
Yeah, that's why we keep you around. No,
That's
I'm
very
kidding,
weird.
I'm kidding.
He keeps riding along. He's. Well, you're at this point. You can move on if you want to keep talking to Epbert. You can, but he's in the. Ayla is in the back, cutting the silver. You can even see him. You can hear the ka-tink as every time he clips them with heavy iron shears. As they drop into a bag.
Do you know any urban legends, tales from...
Hold on, I went too far.
From Savania? I don't care that you came from there, but...
Yeah, we've heard a few. I mean, I don't believe them. I think they're down, but...
I know, but then there was...
Well, there's a rumor going around that we've been watched over by the same law, the same count for the past 300 years. Something like that. They keep saying that kind of crap. Nobody ever sees the Lord, so of course they're gonna say shit like that. I just think they all look alike, so if anybody does see him, they're gonna think it's the same bloke. He's big capes and shit. Bunch of stuffy bastards. I'm sorry, I'm speaking ill of the nobility. Dad'll have my ass for that later.
I certainly won't tell on you.
Neither will I. This one, on the other hand.
It's like, well,
Really?
that's one thing. The von Karsteins supposedly about like that. The same one. That's what I heard. And there's the rumors that, you know, I think it's just sickness. You know, people getting sick and die. That's what happens. People want to blame shit on things, though. You know, they just want there to be a monster. I don't believe in monsters.
Have you heard of the name Hollenbach at all?
Hollenbach. No.
Yeah?
When your staring intensifies, waiting for more of a story, like,
Well, I've never heard of him. What do you want?
No? Oh, sorry. I
No.
thought you said yes.
No, I said no.
Oh. Fine.
No, I've never heard of them.
Oh.
They're not. I don't think they're from Steerland.
No. Oh. I like collecting rumors, and particularly with that creature that invaded the camp. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, we're not saying vampires don't exist. It's just, I think it's dumb that everybody's trying to find them. They find you, but people want to be upset. We get blamed for shit. Look at all this. We're not vampires. It was a vampire. People at the camp fought the vampire. We saw him flying up into the sky with the wings flapping.
What?
What?
You saw somebody?
Yeah, it had.
Yeah, during the night of the big
Okay, I thought.
raid.
Oh, show
Were
him
you?
the bite.
Did you get knocked out?
Okay, no, I thought you were saying.
no,
I
he's
saw people coming out of the tent.
Trying to like
no.
weed
Take
out
notes,
Guys,
guys.
I saw the vampire fly off,
Oh, okay.
leather wings and all, going into the sky.
Yes, no, we were there.
They're real.
Yeah, I know. I just don't think that they're everywhere like people like to think they are. It's in broad daylight too.
People want a
Vampire gonna be
scapegoat.
walking around and it gotta be. I just say, if you're gonna make shit up, at least be consistent. How we vampires walk around in the middle of the day?
Smart kid.
He's a very smart 12-year-old. Smart in more than a few ways, as you've heard. Yeah, I don't really. I don't know. Just dumb. Now. Chaos. That's shit to worry about. Seen that.
Seen it. We definitely have our fair share as well, but in the camp?
Maybe. I don't know. I just know that after the storm, you know when you see them, they do weird shit to their bodies, show their devotion and crap. We fled Sylvania. We went up to. We were heading up to Marienburg. That's why Dad and I are this where we are. While we were on our way, they were terrible. Naked. Screaming. Some of them had giant crab claws. They had iron and piercings all over their bodies. They'd put rods in... No. Not gonna think about it. Make Arcana checks.
Huh?
Make Arcana checks.
Wow, I actually wish I never rolled a 20 in my life all of a sudden.
Oh, you rolled a 20?
Yeah.
Good job.
I got a natural one.
Oh. You don't know which one it is. 16?
Yeah.
Both of you know that's the markings of one of the other chaos gods. One that you haven't really heard of lately. You've heard stories about it. You've read about it. It's the greater power known as Slanesh. A god.
I do want it.
Cass is cracking up Ghoulie.
There's a line.
Slanesh is the Lord of excess. Pain, pleasure, all in one. Think in a legion of Cenobites.
Okay.
Led by a great keeper of secrets. And that keeper of secrets is the one who knows all of your deepest, darkest desires and uses them against you. And usually, followers of Slanesh lose all line between what is... It's just experience. It's all experience. It's all... Excess is what is amazing. So, their followers tend to do excessive things to their bodies.
And they know all and see all.
No, not really. They just want to make sure everybody else gets to experience it too. Slanesh is the god of experience and excess. The prince of pleasure. Yeah, sorry. Prince, thinking of. Anyway, Clarence would definitely be a Slaneshi cultist. Anyway. No, Ghoulie, you can't have that job. That's my dream job. Information broker BDSM god. No, sorry. Can't have that job. It's taken.
Just become an intern.
I'll spell it in chat for people who want to, Google at your own risk.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure the mature filter's off.
Yeah, turn off your mature filters.
no, here we
you'll see
go.
what you see.
What, for Slanesh?
For
Yes.
Slanesh, yeah. Says they were terrible. Dad and I got away. I grabbed my mom and she screamed to take me, and Dad just picked me up and started running. Last time I saw her was when they didn't kill her, they just started clawing at her. And then my dad covered my face and I couldn't see what was going on. It was just... Still hear her scream sometimes at night. It sucks. I hate it. I wish she would stop screaming. Well. It's okay. Eventually we'll get away. Sell this stupid horse. Getting us in trouble. He kind of goes silent. Not really paying attention, just kind of holding onto the reins and staring into the middle distance between his eyes and the horse's ass. He's just sitting looking down.
I'd say we have some more information from Helmet.
And
One
I
person will be
think,
angry at us.
sadly, this would be the best time to stop.
Come on, I didn't get to punch anything.
Folks, thank you for hanging out with us. I have been Conry. With me has been...
Sandra Lee.
There you go.
And YOD Ye Old Dragon, y'all.
Thanks for hanging out. Remember to look for our updated stuff on Twitter, and so you know you can be here and be ready for more heavy emotion role playing, because that's apparently what I do to people.
Yes, we will see you tomorrow.
Until tomorrow, folks, remember to stay evil.